Huge TikToker arrested for murder. Now, unless you live under a rock, you should know what this is. Nigga said your cousin. I'm crying, bro. No, not my cousins. They're not coming over. They're not coming over yet. A little later in the year. But unless you live under a rock, you probably know who this is. This nigga went through multiple phases on the internet. I didn't see this nigga become a meme. I didn't see this nigga all over my For You page. And then I'm scrolling on Twitter and I'm seeing TikToker arrested for murder. And I'm seeing this nigga's picture. I'm like, huh? What? But let's see what this shit is saying, bro, because I can't believe what I'm seeing. Practicing for my mugshot because this might be the year someone's gonna meet God if they whatever.
Well, guys, today's not going to be a super fun
Welcome
topic.
to the stream,
We've
brody.
talked about a lot of different TikTokers.
You already know what it is,
and
man.
social media
Reactions,
influencers
trolling.
and
I might get into some Roblox later today. I want to see if I could play some Roblox. About to play some Dress to Impress with the baddies.
general on this channel who have been known to do some pretty crazy stuff, but today we might be entering into a new category.
I want to see if I can run it.
This is as bad as it can
Hopefully.
get. Over the last few days, there's been a pretty serious
let's see this.
development
Mr.
involving
Prada,
a
the
TikToker
murderer,
who is known
apparently,
as
allegedly.
Mr. Prada. Even if you're not on TikTok, really, there's a pretty good chance you've seen one of his videos before. He's pretty popular in that niche of TikTok videos that seems to be really big right now, where you just film something random and then you put a caption over it. It's basically like tweeting with extra steps. I don't really get it, but they're really popular right now, have been for a while. And he was one of the bigger names involved in that kind of content, if you can call it that. But that's not why we're talking about him today. A couple of days ago, some screenshots started to make the rounds on Twitter depicting a person of interest who was involved with the murder of a Baton Rouge therapist. Pretty quickly, a lot of people started to think that these pictures resembled Mr. Prada, and rumors started to spread that he was the one who did this. And it did not take long for us to get confirmation that this person was in fact the TikToker Mr. Prada. Earlier today, as of recording this, Terrion Thomas, also known as Mr. Prada on TikTok, was arrested on suspicion of aggravated criminal damage to property, resisting an officer, and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. Now, you might notice that missing from these charges is anything that has to do with murder. Hey guys, real quick, August from the future here. I was going to upload this, and then a new development occurred where Mr. Prada has now been charged with second-degree murder. They're even alleging that the murder took place inside of Mr. Prada's apartment.
Alright, so listen, really quick intermission from the reaction video. If you guys are here and got recommended this video, that's because the algorithm thinks that you are going to like who I am as a person and a creator. What I'm trying to do right now is I want to build my community. I want to make my community bigger. I want to have more Discord segments, more manhunts, more fucking, item hunts, giveaways, like you name it. I want to do a lot of stuff for the community. I want to get to know as many of you guys as possible, especially since I'm a small creator for now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like I'm so delusional in my mind. I'm like, I'm already at 10,000 live concurrent viewers, but at the same time, it's like you have to go step by step. You feel what I'm saying? So I want to build a community. So if you're here and you want to be a part of my story, you want to be a part of my story for as long as I'm on the internet, you want to be the type of person that gets to say, I was here before this guy had 500 subs, 1,000 subs, 10,000 subs, 20,000 subs. If you want to be that person, make sure you follow me on Instagram, which is going to be the most important social media to follow me on because I post when I go live. I post new YouTube videos. Think of Instagram like the hub, basically. No, not that hub. Freaky ass nigga. But the hub where everything connects. So follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitch, and let's get back to the fucking video.
So, yeah. Some of the stuff I might say in this video might not make a whole lot of sense because of that, but I was working off the information I had, okay? Just thought you should...
I don't think he's crying. LMAO.
No. But things are pointing to that likely changing here pretty soon. As of right now, Mr. Prada is the #1 suspect in the case, mainly due to the nature in which he was arrested. The information we have now is that after William Abraham's body was discovered, who was the therapist that was slain in this situation, police announced that they were searching for a person of interest after a man was seen driving the therapist's stolen car. Once the car was located and a traffic stop was attempted, the driver backed up into the police officer, drove off, crashed, and then fled on foot. This is when the person of interest post was made, and the following day, Mr. Prada was
Reasonable crash
arrested
out.
in Dallas after an officer confirmed that
I
he was
understand
the
him,
one
bro,
who was
but
driving the
the
vehicle.
government
Now,
won't.
there's a lot up in the air about this case right now, and obviously, since it
I
involves
understand
somebody
him,
who's
but-
so big on TikTok, there's a lot of speculation, lots of rumors, lots of internet detectives, with most of the talk surrounding this case being about why Mr. Prada might have done this. Now, just a quick heads up, we're going to be talking about some relatively heavy stuff here. This is not going to be my typical haha, look at this dumb TikToker who did something stupid kind of TikTok video. It's a little bit more serious than that, so just keep that in mind moving
Well, I
forward.
always
This is
noticed they
not
got
going to
a
be
few
something
loose
that's
screws.
fun to
Fuck
talk
him
about,
and
but I
his
do
fucking
still think that it's
therapist.
important because unfortunately, some of the aspects of this situation
Sometimes,
are
bro,
really
sometimes realistically speaking, sometimes it's like you can tell when some people need a little help, but then it's like at the same time, what can you do to help, bro? Like sometimes what can you do to help? Cause this nigga really, I was reading a thread on Twitter showing how this nigga visually like started to break down on TikTok, started posting weird shit, looking weird, and like he was clearly going through something, but it's like, what do you do, bro?
as old as time. We're going to be talking about some things that most people have probably heard or been told multiple times before, but they're things that you can never really get too many reminders on, and I think this situation is a pretty good example of that. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. Please subscribe. So as I was saying, the main thing that people seem to be talking about in this situation is why exactly Mr. Prada would do this. This is a guy who is presumably making a pretty good amount of money making these TikTok videos. Young dude with his entire life ahead of him. Why is he getting tied up with the murder? Well, the answer that a lot of people are pointing to is a pretty unfortunate one. William Abraham,
Are
the
they
man
always
who was
black?
murdered, was arrested in 2015 and accused of inappropriately touching a minor.
You see,
During a
yeah,
counseling
that's what I was
session, an
talking about.
11-year-old
I saw
boy
this shit on
accused
Twitter.
Abraham
I
of
don't know how
touching
true
him
this is, but I saw
inappropriately.
this
Now,
on
the
Twitter.
charges ended up being dropped because the kid ended up recounting his statements, so the case was never actually brought to trial. But people did some digging, and they found that Mr. Prada happened to be 11 years old, which has led a lot of people on the internet to believe that that is the reason that Mr. Prada is involved in this, that he was the child involved in that 2015 case.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not here to speculate or anything, but I will say just from a human perspective, that is kind of a crazy coincidence, but there's a very real possibility that that's all it is, just a crazy coincidence.
That is
The
also
defense
true.
attorney that represented the therapist in 2015 said that it was not Mr. Prada in the case, and the DA who handled this case said this: while there was a probable cause for an arrest, my office had to determine if the evidence supported our burden at trial, which is proof beyond a reasonable doubt. This matter was under review by my office for
So,
approximately
bro, so what I'm saying is, if it wasn't that, like, who would he and why would he possibly do that? I'm so
like 2
confused,
years
bro.
after considering all available evidence, the best interest of the child, and the lack of any
Yo, Ami
inculpatory
King, what's
statements by the
good, Brody? Welcome
arrestee,
to
we
the
declined
stream.
to institute formal charges. Now look,
Welcome
for
to the
most
stream,
things,
man.
I'm
Don't let me
generally of the
ragingly
opinion that the
butt fuck you,
justice
Clint
system is a
lover.
pretty sacred thing. It
Wow.
is far, far, far from
What a
perfect, don't
very
get me wrong, but I feel like for the
YouTube
most
Ami
part, when
King. Yo, did this nigga just threaten to butt fuck a mod? This nigga's tweaking out in the chat, bro.
need to
So
respect
crazy,
that,
bro.
otherwise shit kind of
Like, what
starts
are you
to fall
talking
apart.
about?
However, I'm also of the opinion that generally the average 11-year-old has no motivation to lie about something like this, and that a kid recounting a statement is not evidence that a person is innocent. Now, I'm not saying that it's
That is
evidence that
also
he's
true.
guilty either, but it
That is
does
also
seem
true.
a little bit suspicious. Now, maybe that's me being a bit hypocritical considering what I just said about the justice system, but sorry, human nature is human nature. Can't help but find that kind of weird. But, like I said, this could all just be a coincidence. I'm trying not to speculate, but I can't really not allow myself to find certain facts about the case kind of strange. But at the end of the day, the guy could have just bought a stolen
niggas
car,
just
or he
don't
could have just
learn,
stolen
bro.
the car. A person running from the police when they know they're
just
driving a
don't
stolen
learn, bro.
car, really not that hard to believe. There's a very real chance that he had no idea the car he was driving belonged to a dead person. I mean, generally, if you're gonna murder somebody, you're probably not gonna steal their car and drive it around afterwards. That would seem like a pretty stupid decision. If you really think about it, it kind of starts to make more sense that the guy just bought a stolen car, or stole it himself, and didn't want to get caught. And that's why he ran. However, there's another aspect of this situation that's leading a lot of people to believe that Mr. Prada might be more involved in this than just stealing a car. With this story coming out, a lot of people are looking back at the TikToks that Mr. Prada has made throughout the years with sort of a new set of eyes, and a lot of people seem to think that there were signs that something like this could have been brewing for quite some.
Bro, I tried to look for the thread earlier today, but I was reading through Twitter, bro, and I was just scrolling through the timeline and shit, and there was someone who actually gave like deadass a legitimate breakdown of the TikToks that he started posting like around the time like before this news came out and before this shit started spreading on TikTok, and just like breaking down his mental and like bro, this shit was so crazy, bro. We didn't at the beginning of this stream, this nigga came in, you know, you look good today, Clint, blah blah blah, I love your voice. And then this nigga just switched to just like dick right. Yo, bro, all love. No, bro. What is this hot and cold shit, bro? Like, what is like niggas like pause. I was about to say some crazy shit. Bro, relax, bro.
Time. The one a lot of people.
It's like I'm reacting to the video, talking about what I seen on Twitter and shit like that for the YouTube video. And niggas is on my dick talking about something we didn't ask, bro. Like, yo, niggas just can't, like, it's like, I can't, like, it's like, bro, it's like, I don't even, yo, it's like, I can't even stream, bro. They want you 8-inch.
People are sort of jokingly referring to, I think, is this TikTok where he was practicing his mugshots because this year he might make somebody meet God. Without the context we have now, this video would just seem like somebody joking about kind of being on edge, having a rough.
I was about to forgive you, but why did you?
Year. But now that he's involved in this, you've got to look back and wonder how much of the stuff that he was saying was really a joke, which is really what I was referring to earlier when I said that stuff.
Bro has a command for that? That's a great question. Oh, it should sound like someone like destroying some shit outside, bro. This shit is loud as fuck.
Stuff like this is important to talk about, even if you've heard it 100 times. You never know what's going on in a person's life. You never know what they're dealing with.
You know what's crazy though?
Stories like this are far too common.
Remember Shorty that was on
stream? Shorty the signs are all there, but they're the funny person, so it's taken as a joke. Or there's just nobody there to step in and be like, hey, what's really going on, man? Now, let me be very clear here, okay? Please do not take me saying this as me saying that you should try and take it upon yourself to try and save social media influencers when you think they're reaching out for help. Like, seriously, please do not do that. Parasocial relationships are real.
You know, chat. You know, chat. She's going to be coming back because, oh, you know why she's coming back.
Real. You do not know these people. It's not your job to save somebody that you've never met. This is more of just like a general thing when it comes to your friends and family. When the signs are there, don't just ignore them because your friend has always said stuff like this, or your brother has always joked in this manner, or anything like that. If the signs are there, if a person that you know is saying stuff that's concerning you, just reach out. The power that a single conversation, a single text can hold with a person is insane. So funny, now, let me also be clear here. It's not your job or your responsibility to be looking out for another person's mental health constantly. I feel like a lot of people, and
it's like she was like, I'm gonna come back tomorrow. You know, we're on a call, we're chilling, we're talking and shit. No. I want to come back today. I want to come back today. I'm gonna come back later. That's all I'm gonna say.
End up getting sucked into that, and that just does way more harm than good. At the end of the day, people are responsible for their own actions, and while that might be kind of hard for some people to hear, that's just the truth. You can't save a person who doesn't want saving, and you shouldn't be trying to. I'm not saying that you need to make it your life goal to go and save everybody you're connected to. That's not what this is. There's no guilt to be had in not reaching out. There's no guilt to be had in not knowing what was going on in somebody's head. If somebody goes out and does something drastic, drastic like this, unless you directly had a hand in making it happen, it's not your fault. All I'm saying here is that if there's somebody that you care about and they're doing some stuff that's concerning you, there's no harm in reaching out. But there is genuine harm in thinking that it's your responsibility to save another person. That you have to go in, you have to fix everything. That somehow, if something goes wrong, if something tragic happens, it falls onto you. It's your fault. I know it might sound like I'm kind of going back and forth, and I'm not trying to be contradictory, but there's a fine line between being a friend who is trying to do the right thing and being a person who is putting themselves into a role or a position that they do not belong in. Now, I'm bringing all this up in the context of this situation for two reasons. One, because like I was saying, the power that a text or a conversation can hold can really be something pretty incredible. But also, if the power isn't there, that's okay. If you go through the videos that Mr. Prada has uploaded or the ones that were re-uploaded, I don't even know if his actual original account is still on TikTok, you'll see a lot of comments of people saying like, we should have seen the signs, somebody should have done something, and that's just not productive. The reality of the situation is that we don't know what happened behind the scenes. There very well could have been friends and family reaching out. There may have not been. But speculating and trying to blame yourself for something you had no part of is pointless. But I feel like I've sort of made my point on that note. As of right now, what we've gone over is really all the information this case has to offer so far. I'm pretty curious to see what ends up coming out of this. Obviously, I hope that the guy is not involved in this. I hope that it's all just sort of a crazy misunderstanding. It'd be sad to see somebody throw their life away at 20 years old, but whether or not that's the case, only time will tell. Well, guys, what are your thoughts? I know this isn't really my typical sort of video, but for the reasons we talked about today, I still thought it was important to talk about. Social media is getting to a place where everybody feels connected with everybody, and that's good in some cases, but in a lot of cases, it's also pretty bad. And a lot of the discourse around this case has sort of reminded me of that. You didn't see about
this guy? You don't know about this guy, Mr. Prada? Yo, this nigga was, he's like, he was, well, I don't know, he probably still, he doesn't have access to his TikTok because he was charged for second-degree murder. Apparently, this dude was doing like, you know, posting memes and funny shit, relatable shit on TikTok and shit like that. And this nigga posted some shit. It's at the beginning of the video. Read this, bro. Niggas was saying he was foreshadowing. Nigga said, practicing for my mugshot because this might be the year someone gonna meet God if they piss me off too much. And then this nigga started to have like a mental decline on TikTok. Like as time went on, he just started mentally getting worse and worse and worse, posting like weird shit. And then on Twitter, niggas was saying like, you know, they're looking for someone that looks like this. And they were like, oh wait, that looks like that guy from TikTok. And then they actually arrested him. It was him. And now he just got charged for second-degree murder, bro. From TikTok. So from TikTok to murderer. This some shit, bro. This some crazy shit, bro.